Welcome back to the Wayne Rooney Plymouth Argyle rebuild. If you haven't seen the first video, check the FM24 rebuilds playlist or check the videos for the first episode. I would definitely recommend go watching that one before you watch this one. This is going to be a part 2 of the rebuild. So now you've had your warning to go watch the first part if you haven't. Welcome back to the Plymouth Argyle rebuild with Wayne Rooney. This is season 2, which, as you know from the first video, we're doing one video per season here in the rebuild. We narrowly missed out on promotion to the Premier League, which is the rebuild goal. The goal of the rebuild to take Plymouth Argyle into the Premier League. And we have got quite a rebuild on our hands this summer. We've got our best players are all on loan. We have a number of players at the club who are probably going to be out of contract next season. And we have a number of players at the club who just aren't good enough. So we've got a really big rebuild job on our hands. I think we can have another good season though, but we are going to have a massive summer. So we've got our new budgets for the next season and it's really nothing special. The board obviously just expect us to kind of stay in the league. We've got a 1.5 million transfer budget, absolutely nothing, and 250 grand in the wages, which isn't terrible. We've got a committed spend of 191k, which means we've got about 60 grand left to play with. I think we can obviously do a bit of work there, but we do have quite a number of players that we need to bring in, so it's going to be tough. We'll probably talk that's like 10 players on 6 grand a week. We're paying more than 6 grand a week. So you're probably talking, we're talking 5 or 6 that we need to bring in. Overall, the squad's okay. We definitely need a goalkeeper. We definitely need a left back, and a centre back. And we probably need a real striker as well and a left winger. So what's that? Striker, left winger, left back, centre back, goalkeeper. That's about 5 players. So it's about right for the budget, but we have got a number, obviously, of players leaving on loan, so we should be able to hopefully pad the squad out with a couple loans as well. So we have reached free transfer day and we will be looking to bring in some loans. We have, trials, not loans. We have managed to move a few players on and bring a few players in already. All of the loans have gone back. We have managed to get James Beadle's loan on a new deal. So he's on a new loan deal till the end of the year. We're paying him £1,600 a week when he plays and he's going to play every game. So that's a really good, cheap deal. So that's obviously one of our 5 matchday squad loans that we can do. We are looking to bring back Calico from Ajax on another loan and Ulrich. The others didn't want to come back. The clubs are actually transfer listing them, weirdly enough. Robertson and Palistri are on the transfer list, as well as Arujo is not on the transfer list, but he's basically a fringe player. We are looking at Juanmi Latasa to bring in. We've offered him a deal of Real Madrid, which will be a really good sign, and he's a 23-year-old Spanish pressing forwards. He would be our main man for the season. He looks a really good player. Hopefully we can get him in. If we can get him in and the loans in, I think we're in a really good position then. Other than that, I think we needed probably a centre-back and maybe a midfielder. Yeah, I think if we get the loans in, we've got left back sorted, left wing sorted, and obviously if we can get that striker in, we've got the goalkeeper, so I think it would just be a centre-back. And even then, Lewis Gibson isn't too bad. Lewis Gibson and Lascelles wouldn't be the worst partnership in the world to stick with. So yeah, I mean, it was looking really bad, but I think it's looking a lot better now. In terms of transfers out, we've moved a number of players on. Mustafa Bundus went to Lincoln for 150k. Connor Hazard has went to St Mirren for 150k. Freddie Isaka, just one of our young players, has gone out on loan. And Nathan Ogbet has gone to Wrexham for 225k. So some little deals done there. We have got other players that we are trying to move on as well. A couple of players that were out on loan that we are trying to move on permanent deals. So let's go try and bring in some trials and hopefully bring in some new players. So we've managed to do quite a bit of business, so let's meet the players. So David Calico comes back on another season-long loan from Ajax. We know of him. Another one who's returning from his loan was Lucas Ulrich. He's coming back on loan from Borussia Mönchengladbach. We've also made some free transfers as well. So Gabriel Osho joins us after leaving Luton. He played a season in the Championship. He is okay. He's a decent Championship player, but I think it's a position we needed. We've then followed up with another German player, Yannick Kiesel, who will be obviously joining his compatriot Lucas Ulrich in the team. He is a defensive midfielder who left Freiburg after playing 12 games, not very good 12 games, but 12 games nonetheless in the Bundesliga. He actually looks decent. He's probably won a little bit more for the future, maybe the El Neni long-term replacement, but he's got some decent value, so even if he doesn't work out, we can always look to move him on. We've then again dipped in the loan market for Yusuf Chermiti. He comes in on a season-long loan from Everton. He actually spent last season on loan at Luton, getting 24 goals in 40 games, so quite the return from him. So really excited to see him. He doesn't look amazing. His mentals and physicals are good. His technicals are a little bit mid, but he looks quite good, and we've got him on a season-long loan, and they actually want him to be a pressing forward as well, so it really works for us. This one is really weird. So we've got Philip Piszczek in, who, for whatever reason, was in the Irish League, and I mean, he's absolute gunman in the Irish League. It's a massive step down. I'm not surprised because he's a leading championship player, but look at some of this. 16 determination, 18 work rate, 16 bravery, 16 aggression, 6'3", 15 jump and reach, 16 strength. You know, everything but running fast and actually being able to do anything with the ball, he's really good at. So he's going to be our second choice striker. We'll see how he gets on. And then we got Peter Ankerson, who's come in on a free contract after leaving Copenhagen. He's just going to cover right back, left back, and even centre back if we very much needed it. But that leaves us with only 350k spent, so again, we're doing it on the cheap. So the players that have left, Pleg Wazzello has went to Herenveen for 180k. Adam Forshaw, our midfielder, has went to Salento, which is Lekker. They've got a couple of our players now. He went for 825k, so a decent deal there. Dan Scar went to Wrexham for 190k. Adam Randall went to Spezia for 180k. We let Tarek Wright go to Wrexham on a free. Matthew Soranolo, just another one who's Solanola, who we don't need. He's went on a season-long loan to Preston, and I think that will take him. It's actually only until January, but his contract's out at the end of the year. And then Saxon Ellis went to Regina in Italy, Serie CB, for 175k, rising to 195. So that means that this is the squad. So this is very much what I think we'll be playing. So we'll probably have Beadle in goal, back four of Mumba, Lascelles, Osho and Ulrich, midfield two of El Neni and Baptiste, and then our attacking four of Whitaker, Castrovilli, David Calico and Chemriti, with those lads all on the bench. So now the beginning of the season starts. We were away to Norwich at Carrow Road. They went 1 goal ahead through Josh Sargent. We did manage to pull a late equaliser back though to rescue the opening day. Calico picks up the ball from the left hand side. How many times we've seen that? And then Martial, of all people, came off the bench and finished it to rescue a point on the opening day. We didn't get off to the best start in the league this season. We are really struggling to get wins under our belt, but we did manage another draw, this time at home. Castrovilli went 1-0 up before Nottingham Forest equalised in the second half, and we are very much struggling for wins at this time. A lot of draws that we were getting in the opening results of the league this season. So after only our one win in our opening 7 games, we did finally manage to get the form back to what we were expecting this season. We're obviously, the board were obviously expecting top half. We are expecting to get in the playoffs. And a familiar face was in the goals. Alex Robertson back for his second spell. Wasn't sold by City. No one was interested in him, which is crazy with the goal return he had. But we did manage to get back Alex Robertson on loan. Piszczek is starting to score a little bit more as well, so I think he's nailed himself down as the starting striker, which is interesting. I didn't think he was going to be. And you'll notice there's a couple other new names in the side as well, so we'll take a look at where we've ended up in the league after the first 2 months, and we'll take a look at some of the transfers as well. So there is the overview for how the league's gone so far. As you can see, we had a really rough start of it. We obviously got past Derby 6-0 in the Carabao Cup, which I was thinking after that and the 4-1 win in the league, I was like, all right, we drew the opener, but I think we're going to be okay. And then we just went on a really bad run, a lot of draws, some really poor losses as well, losing to West Brom, losing to Forest, really poor there, not beating Derby, not beating Bristol. I thought these were poor results. You know, we were in every game. It wasn't like we were getting battered, and you're talking 1-0s, 1-alls, but we really needed to turn it round. And thankfully we did manage to do that with winning our last 3 games. Piszczek has scored in the last 4 games. He's scored a goal, so he's definitely finding himself a little bit more form in the team. 4 in 7 now, looking much better. That does mean that obviously we had that rough start, so we were further down the league, but we have climbed back up to 12, so the board probably okay with that. We obviously want to get in the playoffs. We're only 2 points away, so it's still early days. I think we can get in them playoffs as well. In terms of transfers, there's been quite a lot of players in and quite a lot of players out as well. So we'll start with the exits. So since you last left us, our backup goalkeeper went to Heidenheim for 79 grand. That meant we had to sign another backup goalkeeper. So Brandon Austin came in on 2 grand a week just to be our backup. We then sold Lewis Gibson to Hamburg for 975k because we brought in Philippe Relvas on loan from West Ham, who was expected to be a starter, but because we signed Callum Chambers on a free transfer to get a lone player out of the squad, we've actually kind of dropped him out of the team. So Callum Chambers and Lascelles are our starting centre-backs now. Martial actually got a bid from Montpellier. He scored once this season, but he was kicking up a fuss about wanting a new contract. We were definitely not going to offer him a new contract. £3 million came in. I don't think he really worked out, did he? 9 in 25 goal contributions and then 1 in 5 in the new season. Besides the opening day heroics, I don't think he really worked out. We brought in Tyler Morton on loan from Liverpool because the lads were kicking off that we didn't have enough defensive midfielders, so I just signed him on loan with the intention of never playing him. We then brought Alex Robertson back in on loan. We're not even having to pay anything for him. He's a free loan from City, which is just incredible. 2 goals in his first 3 already. I mean, we know this guy's quality. His contract's out at the end of the year, so I'm really hoping we can get him once his contract's done. We also brought in Fabio Silva on 24 grand a week loan. This was when Piszczek wasn't scoring and neither was Chemruti, and we really thought we were going to need another striker. I don't think we will need him, but there you go. We've also actually confirmed a deal for Lucas Ulrich, so he's going to join us permanently as a transfer. I actually thought when I'd done it that it was going to happen in the window and then we wouldn't be using up a loan spot. The reason why is because Borussia Mönchengladbach only wanted I think it was 1.7 million or something. 1.3 million we're paying, could rise to 1.6, so that was all I was thinking we'd get him in. But yeah, it didn't really work out. In terms of other transfers, we do have a current transfer offer to Scott McTominay. He's been without a club since the end of last season. Didn't really play. Well, he has actually played a couple of games in the Prem this season, but it must have got released part way into it. He looks really good. He would be really good for this level. It is quite a big contract, but it's a 3-year deal. So I think if we could get him in, that's quite the statement signing, I would say, and would be definitely someone we could get into the side. I think playing on a regular basis would be really good. Other than that, we've got a couple pre-contracts. So Pizzucillo is a right back. He is Uruguayan, 28 years old. He's going to come in on a free in January. Does he join? In January, yeah. And then Ricardo Graca joins us on the 9th of June. His contract with hang on. So his contract expires on the 31st of January. Why is he joining in June? I thought he'd be joining in January. His contract expires in January. Well, he's currently playing in Japan. He's a Brazilian centre-back who's got Premier League ability, apparently. I don't think so. I think he's a Championship player. But he joins us, so they both join us on free contracts. Well, I'm not sure about the start date. I'm sure he'll be joining in January, but maybe he won't, I guess. We'll see. But yeah, so that's how we're going. I think we've turned it around a little bit in terms of the form. We've obviously got 2 more months to go through, so we'll be back around December, hopefully up in the playoffs. So after the poor start we had, we needed to turn it around, and we did manage to get a decent result against Blackburn. We did get a 1-1 draw. Castrovilli getting the only goal of the game for us, but it did take a late equaliser for Blackburn to get in the game, which was really disappointing because I thought we were just about to hold on, but it was Blackburn who did get an equaliser. Maybe Beadle should be doing better there, but Blackburn are a decent side, so a 1-1 draw isn't the end of the world, but we did get off to just a draw at the start of October. Our bad luck really continued as we had to play Sunderland on the end of the month, and unfortunately Patrick Roberts did put Sunderland a goal ahead. They actually suffered 2 injuries, but it just showed us when we come against a team who are going to be kind of in and amongst the playoffs, we just can't take it. We just can't handle that level of opposition yet. So we had to start seeing some better results, and in the month of November we really did, as we took on Huddersfield, who was struggling in the Championship. Piszczek got the opening goal after some good work from Robertson. We then scored directly from a corner, Scott McTominay getting a goal for Plymouth from the corner. Huddersfield did get one back and looked like they were going to be in a bit of a competition there as they did make it 2-1, but we would just then instantly reply to get our 2-goal advantage back. Some good work there from Robertson to win it back. El Neni played it through to Fabio Silva, who came in off the left-hand side and finished it to make it 3-1. We then made it 4-1 before the end of the half. Again, some good work from Morgan Whittaker, the team doing what we're meant to be doing, pressing, and he does really well to just take it by himself and smash it in the back of the net, making it 4-1. We then scored from a penalty, Morgan Whittaker getting his second to make it 5-1. We then rounded off a very, very good afternoon with a goal from Ballymumba, who just absolutely raced through after picking the ball up to finish it and make it 6-1. So hopefully we can see a bit of a turnaround. We then finished the month with another good result, a 4-2 win away to Sheffield Wednesday. not Wednesday, the Sheffield fans will be fuming. Sheffield United. Lascelles put us 1-0 up before Fabio Silva then put us 2-0 up. Both goals from headed moments. There was then a late flurry of goals as Sheffield United got one back in the second half to make it 2-1. Again, not great work from Beadle. Starting to see maybe there's a little bit of a weakness in goal there. But we got back our 2-goal advantages. Ulrich there, the left back, whipped it in for Traore, who got a rare goal again from a header to make it 3-1. Then Sheffield United would get a late goal back. It wouldn't matter anyway because we'd also get a late goal ourselves as Robertson played through Piszczek, who did really well to just play it back to Mumba. He looked for the option, found Piszczek, first time effort, put in the back of the net, and he's definitely been in amongst the goals this season. I think definitely a bit of a good sign in there, as we did win 4-2 to end off November with a positive result. So the run in October, November was not too bad. October, not really that good, but we did start to pick up some more wins in November. One thing I'm noticing is we are definitely okay at scoring goals, but keeping them out has definitely been something we've struggled with. All of that means we have climbed a bit up the table into 10th. We're still only 4 points away from playoffs, so I think we can get in the playoffs this year. It's just about being a bit more consistent, because as you can see, the results are just very up and down. You've got 2 draws, 3 losses, 4 wins. It's kind of just all over the place. So we've got 2 busy months in December and January to get through, and hopefully we can make some signings to try and improve the team as well. So we kicked off our busy December period with a home fixture in the Championship against Watford. We went 1-0 up with Kalakaua getting on the end of a Ballymumba assist to put us 1-0 up, and we finished the game to round it up 2-0 with a lovely effort from Fabio Silva, who's been in absolutely cracking form at the minute. We also got another win in December with a 1-0 win over Lincoln, and it was that man again, Fabio Silva, who's been incredible in on loan. And one thing that we did have in December was a lot of fixtures, but a lot of fixtures against teams in the bottom half of the table. So we were able to get on quite a good run. Moving into January, we kicked off it with another good result, this time a 3-0 win over Ipswich, as Adama Traore got us the opener in the second half in the 61st minute. We then got 2 late goals, this time coming from new boy Pizzucillo. He came through onto the right back from Argentina, and he scored to get his first goal for the club on his debut. McTominay then picked up the ball in a great position, whipped it in to Aziz, who is another new boy, getting a goal on his debut, and we opened up our January with a 3-0 win. We then rounded up our end of January with an FA Cup fixture against York of League 2. We went 1-0 up in the first half through Fabio Silva. We then doubled our lead through a Callum Chambers effort that was then picked up by Aziz Yakubu. McTominay swicked it in, and Kalakaua, the on-loan Ajax winger, got the second. We then unfortunately managed to go fortunately managed to go 3-0 up as McTominay, with a good run, the goalkeeper absolutely nowhere to be seen there. But York did pull one late back. They had a couple of goals disallowed from Josh Umara and someone else as well. I can't remember who it was. It'll show up here. Billy Chadwick also got a goal disallowed. But York were a decent opposition, but we were obviously too good for them. Looking at the XG, we absolutely destroyed them. New boy Yakubu seems to be a good option already, and we'll take a closer look now at all the business we done in January. But first, just a quick recap of the month. So as you can see, not lost in the last 2 months. All mostly wins in December. Just the 2 draws, the 2 1-all draws to Swansea and Portsmouth. Other than that, we've won every game. And then just the 1 draw in January with Sheff Wed. Everyone else with actually late, we should have showed this game, a late winner for us against Blackburn, put us in a really good position in the league, because those who are Blackburn were also in the playoff hunt. As you can see, we have got a game in hand around everyone else, but we are 4 points clear into the playoffs. A win in our game in hand would put us 7 points clear into the playoffs, and would really put us looking up more towards getting into the top 2, getting into the automatics if we can. I think that's a little bit too far ahead. Playoffs would be a fantastic finish once again for us, but we're looking really good. In terms of transfer business, we have done quite a bit of business. So as I mentioned, a couple of the new boys came in at the end of their deal. So Franco Pizzucillo, he comes in from, it was actually from Uruguay, my mistake, I said Argentina. It actually comes in from Uruguay on a free contract. He's on a 10 grand a week deal till 2027. We then made an actual signing. Aziz Yakubu joins us from J2 in Japan, and he's got 3 and 4 in his first few games there. £2 million deal, quite a cheap deal for a leading championship striker. He's on a 24.5 grand deal till 2027 as well, but he looks like a 26-year-old. The Ghanaian is definitely going to be our starting striker for the time being. We then signed Nat Phillips just on a cheap deal till the end of the season on 12.25 grand a week on a free after leaving Liverpool, not really playing too much. He's just an option at centre-back. The reason I brought him in is because they were all kicking off that we didn't have enough qualities at centre-back, even though we already had 3. But yeah, we signed him and they're still not happy, so clearly they don't think he's up to much, but they've not really resolved it. In terms of injuries, Morgan Whittaker has been out for quite a while with a broken ankle, so he's missed out on quite a few games. Yannick Keitel's also picked up an injury that's kept him out for a while, and Robertson's been out for a little while as well. But other than that, we've been looking good, and I think this is very much the 11 that we've been going with. It's working really well at the minute. McTominay and Baptiste seem to be doing quite well in the middle. Baptiste hasn't had an injury in a while as well, which is good because he's someone who does pick up injuries a lot. But Fabio Silva probably been the surprise of the season. I know he's obviously shown as quite a good player, but as a lone striker, he really wasn't cutting it. But playing him on the left, he's been incredible. 11 goals and 3 assists in 21 appearances. In a 7.25 average rating, definitely looks really strong there. Piszczek is a little bit unhappy that he's kind of lost his place, but I mean 7 in 23. Yakubu's already got 3 in 4, so I think we're okay to replace him. Other than that, I think we are a little bit light on depth. We are trying to bring a couple more players in, but as you can see, we don't have a ton of money to work with, so it is free transfers and there's just not a lot available. We have done a couple of pre-contracts though for next season, so obviously you already knew about Grasser and Ulrich, but we have signed 2 more, so we'll go for Didier Lamkelzi. He's a striker who looks quite good, so he's going to join us on a free next season. He's got 13 and 19 in the Turkish first division. That's the second division, isn't it? The one league. Yeah, the one league is the second division, my mistake. And then Ernest Nuama joins us. He's a winger who's joining us from Belgium, I believe. Yeah, so they actually paid 24.5 million for him, which is crazy stuff to then let him go. He's not really someone who contributes a lot with goals and assists, but I mean, look at that average rating, 7.81 in the second division. He is tearing it up. So he's going to join us on a free deal at 21 years old. The Ghanaian looks really, really good. That does mean we've used up all of our ESC slots, which are basically for foreign players that don't have any kind of English nationality or British nationality to qualify, and I guess it's just like a work permit thing, but we've used up all our slots with those transfers, so we wouldn't be able to bring in anyone else unless we obviously got more spots or even got promoted. I don't know how it works in the Premier League, but we're looking really good. So we've got a pretty busy February, then a little bit of a quieter March. We've got Bournemouth in the next round of the FA Cup, so we'll see how we fare against Premier League opposition, but we do start to play a little bit of better sides, as you can see. When we played the teams in December, it was all very much teams down the bottom end of the table. Watford twice, Lincoln, Mansfield. You know, anytime we come up against anyone actually decent like Portsmouth or Swansea, we drew. But we had a better January. Obviously, played some decent teams like Cardiff, Blackburn, Ipswich. So I think we'll do okay. But I could see us definitely potentially dropping out of the playoffs. But we can hopefully take the good momentum we've got now. With the dynamics are looking good. Yeah, good enough. Hopefully we can take this now and get through the next couple months and still be in the playoffs. So we went into the new month wanting to do well and stay in the playoffs, but we didn't really manage to do that with this game, as we did get absolutely spanked by Luton. And I wanted to show this one because I want to emphasise that I think we are still a little bit of ways away from the teams in and around the playoffs. I think we are very much a top half side now, but getting into the playoffs is more about just making sure we're consistent against teams we should be beating and then trying to get results against teams that we maybe shouldn't be beaten. But Luton really, they showed us a lesson. They went 4 goals up. We did get one back. It was Traore who picked up the ball, played it out to Ulrich. He looked for an option in the middle, and Piszczek there coming in for an injury from Yakubu did get a rare goal for him. He's been okay, but really nothing special. And I don't think we were expecting anything massive from him. Beadle was really, really poor this game, and he is someone that I think will identify for next season as someone we'll probably want to replace, because I just don't think he's up to a top half playoff championship team. Thankfully though, that terrible result against Luton didn't cause us too much of a hangover, as we did manage to get back to winning ways in the month. We then ended off our last game of the month away to Stoke. Robertson put us 1-0 up before Stoke did grab themselves an equaliser just straight after, but we had a couple of late goals to get us the win. In the 86th minute, Robertson picked it up, played it through to Shandon Baptiste, who's done really well since El Nenis went out to Saudi Arabia, which I don't think I covered actually. Did we mention the transfers out? I don't think we did. A couple of transfers happened actually on the way out. I think we'll need to cover those, but El Nenis one of them. He left on a deal to go to Saudi Arabia. We finished the game 3-1 win, which put us in a really good position. competition. Yeah, I don't think I did cover the transfers out for some reason when we got to January. I just talked about the players we brought in. So here's the players that left in January, which we have been without. So Tyler Blackett went to Greuther Fürth for 450k. Al Neni went to Saudi Arabia for 3 million. We sold Peter Ankerson. He really wasn't playing at all. I mean, he made a few appearances here and there, mostly off the bench, but really wasn't doing anything. And then a couple of the young players who weren't really in the team also left on transfers as well. We have brought one player in, Daiki Mia. He was just someone we needed to fulfill that centre-back promise that we made. He came in on a free transfer. He's allocated one of our ESC slots. He's okay. He's probably not someone I'm going to keep around forever, though we have offered him quite a long deal. I didn't actually realise it was that long, but he's okay. He's a decent player, 28-year-old Japanese centre-back. He'll be okay as third choice centre-back there. So getting back into the fixtures, and what a massive fixture we had. Everton in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. We managed to beat Premier League Bournemouth 3-2, and we managed to do that again, beating Premier League side Everton 3-2. Everton did go 1-0 up, but Piszczek got us an equaliser. He's been really good in the FA Cup. This has probably been the one competition where he's played actually quite well. We then went 2 goals to the good. A mistake by Pickford allowed Piszczek to get on the end of another one, another headed goal, and we actually managed to make it 3. Morgan Whittaker coming back from injury, played it to Baptiste. He played it through to the loanee Fabio Silva, who got the 3rd for us. Everton did get themselves a goal back, but it would all prove to be too late as Smith Rowe played it into Calvert-Lewin, who finished it nicely. But we did manage to hold on at home, and we progressed to the FA Cup semi-final, where we're going to take on Tottenham. Unfortunately, we couldn't see out the month in such style, as we did play league leaders Norwich at home. It was always going to be a tough game, but we did actually, we looked okay. We only lost 2-1. A bit of a mistake from us at the back, I think, is what caused this first goal, if I remember rightly. We were trying to play out from the back as we do, but we just get caught on the counter there. This isn't even the highlight. Why is it showing it? I don't know why it showed it there. I don't know why that showed it there. That was really weird. Anyway, here's the actual highlight. So Norwich picked up the ball. Nunez, the Chilean, played it through, and obviously they managed to go 1-0 up here. But I think we are, a little bit of a ways away, as this is how it happened. Again, Beadle coming for it, didn't really grab it. I'm starting to think he's not the player that we think he is. So Norwich did go 2 goals to the good. Nunez with an effort, and again, should he save that? I mean, it's kind of far out. He really should save it, I think, personally. But there you go. We did get one back as Kalikoa, the Ajax winger, played it into Piszczek, who's again is filling in for the injured Yakubu at the minute. But we didn't manage to get another one after that. We actually played them off the park. Looking at the XG, I didn't know it was that close. So we really should have went and got a second, which is really disappointing that we didn't get a draw there, but it is what it is. They're the league leaders for a reason. They can hold on to results even when they're not playing at their best. But all of that means that we had quite a good couple of months, a couple bad defeats in there. Lost to Norwich was pretty bad, but the Huddersfield and the Luton ones really stand out because Luton are a good side, but it was quite a big deficit, and Huddersfield aren't a very good side. They're down in 20th at the minute, so that was quite a disappointing one. But we're through with the semi-final of the FA Cup. We've got a few league games left, so we'll go to the end there. I think we will get playoffs. Obviously, we are only 2 points into the playoffs, but we have got that game in hand, so that could make it 5 points. We're very close to Bristol and Luton as well, so we could really finish anywhere from just outside the playoffs to 3rd. So it's going to be tight, but we've got some games, I think some very winnable games. We've got Coventry, Mansfield, Lincoln on the final day, so I think we've got some very winnable games in there. A couple difficult ones, Bristol, Swansea's not too bad, Notts Forest is a difficult one. We've also got obviously a big FA Cup semi-final against 6 in the Premier League, Tottenham, but that's not one I'm too concerned about. I think we are probably seeing the end of the road there, as Championship Hull also go away to Liverpool, so you would expect the final to be Tottenham-Liverpool, but you never know. If we get to the final, that would be a great one to do as a live game. So we'll go through, we'll quick sim the rest of the season, get through, and hopefully be in the playoffs to then do the playoffs as live games. So we saw out the rest of the season in not really amazing form. Some really good wins in here. A 5-0 win over Forest, 2-1 over Sheffield United, a 3-0 over Mansfield. But a couple of disappointing results as well. Obviously, we got knocked out in the FA Cup semi-final at Tottenham. I think we all knew that was going to happen. We did secure our playoff place with a game to go, which we then went to one of the teams in the relegation zone, Lincoln, and lost 1-0. So not really the form you want coming into the last important games of the season. But Lincoln, Oxford and Mansfield are all relegated. Norwich and Nottingham Forest are up automatically. So in the playoffs, it's ourselves, Bristol City, Luton and Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday and Bristol played their first game 0-0. We've got Luton. We have had past experience with Luton. Hasn't been great earlier in the season. When we played them, we lost 1-0 or quite early on in the season to Luton. And then more recently, we lost 5-1. So we have definitely not had a good experience with Luton so far. So we really need to turn it around. So we are going to do 2 live games. This is the stage we got to last season where we got knocked out by Middlesbrough in the playoff semi-final. So we need to try and improve on that today by getting a good result in the first leg away at Luton and then taking it to our place. So this is the team we've got. So we've got Beadle in goal, a back 4 of Ballymumba, Callum Chambers, Jamal Lascelles and Ulrich, a midfield 2 of Keatle and Baptiste. Scott McTominay has a 2-match suspension, so he's going to miss both playoff legs due to too many yellow cards, which is really frustrating because he's been one of the better players. He's definitely probably the best player in the side. Then our attack is Kalakaua on the right, Robertson in the middle, Fabio Silva on the left, and Yakubu up top, who has been a bit of a gunman, 10 in 18, a pretty good return there. We've obviously got Piszczek on the bench, who has had a goal in them as well, 10 in 37, so twice as many games to get the same goals. But the rest of the bench is all players that you know of. So we're going to play the game and hopefully, let me just save it first because I haven't saved in a while and I don't want to lose my progress, but hopefully we can get up to a good result and then take that result into the second leg because we really want to get to the final. We at least want to get to the final. Obviously the goal of the rebuild is to get Plymouth promoted to the Premier League. Whether that's going to happen this season, obviously we are doing 1 video per season and we're going to keep doing it until we get there. We have made progress, I think, but realistically, if we get knocked out here, then we are very much where we were last time. So that's the Luton side, Datro Fofana, Tom Cannon, some very recognisable players in that side. But we need to get a good result here. And we really need to see some of the best from some of our better players because we've seen a lot of good stuff from people like Silva and Yakubu, and Shandon Baptiste has really made that space his spot. As Alex Robertson from a free kick puts it over the bar, remains 0-0 as Luton play out their goal kick. But Robertson's been great. He's out of contract at the end of the year at City, so hopefully they let his contract go out and we can try and bring him in. But if we get promoted, then that's the end of the rebuild. There won't be any more parts. As Fabio Silva plays through, I thought he'd scored, but he's offside. I've seen the linesman pull his flag up. It's not going to count. VAR's checking it. It is offside. Remains 0-0. I thought we got off to a very good dream start there as Fabio Silva had it in the back of the net. But it's been all us so far in the first 15 minutes, which is what we want to see. We obviously simmed the first leg against Middlesbrough last time, and that really, I think, set us up badly. So we're going to play both games today to make sure we try and get as good of a result as we can do. Even if we just take a draw, if we can get into the home leg on equal terms, I would fancy us to give them a good game at our home. But we are looking a little bit short of goals at the minute, but it is a nervy semi-final. Playoffers, that must be Ross Barkley, hit the outside of the post and it was very close for Luton to get probably an undeserved lead there because they really haven't offered anything, but we have been the better side so far. But no goals as we have a corner. Ulrich to whip in, doesn't go to anyone, but Ballymumba will pick up the loose ball. Can he deliver better? He's looking forward. He doesn't need to deliver it because Ballymumba smashes it past Kaminski. It's 1-0 Plymouth and we do lead 1-0 in the playoff semi-final, but we have got a kick-off highlight, which is never what you want to see just before the half's ending, unless it's we that's going to counter on it. As Kalakaua picks up the poor pass, plays it back to the goal scorer, Ballymumba. He plays it into Baptiste, back out to Ballymumba, in the middle. Yakubu gets on the end of it, but it was offside anyway. Wouldn't have counted even if he'd got a stronger head to it. But it was a bit of a weak header, but we look good in this game. 1-0 up at Luton. Can we hold on? Can we get more goals? If we can get a second or third and even get like a really good lead coming into that second leg, that'll really put us in a good position to feel confident for that game. But we've got Ulrich on the free kick. He plays it out to Mumba, who tries to get a second, and Kalakaua's effort is rattled against the bar. It's still fallen to Kalakaua, but this time his effort is well saved from Kaminski, and I thought Ballymumba was going to get 2 there. A rare goal from Ballymumba at right back, and he was also nearly made made it 2 rare goals in the one game. Wouldn't that be something? But Kalakaua picks up the ball from the corner, looking for an option in the middle, plays it through to Robertson, who's back to Kalakaua, out to Baptiste, and Shandon Baptiste has smashed it at Kaminski. We are just leathering Kaminski with shots, and he can't save it because it hits so hard. And Shandon Baptiste has absolutely been flourishing since El Neni's left the club, since that spot's open up for him to just be that regular deep line playmaker. He's looked really good. He's definitely progressed as a bit of a footballer as well, because he's shown as a decent Premier League midfielder now, whereas before he was just a good Championship level. But there is the goal scorer. Baptiste plays it to Kalakaua. Keitel getting a rare start, but he's looked good as well. Plays it out to Ballymunba. He plays it into Kalakaua. It's hit the bar, and Yakubu's hit the post. Oh, I think we both hit both sides of the post within like 2 seconds there. Kalakaua hit the left-hand side, then Yakubu, the angle just too tight, couldn't squeeze it in. And it does remain 2-2. And Yakubu not having the best of games. We're going to bring him off and bring Piszczek on to try and do something a little bit different, offer us something a little bit different. Piszczek, obviously, absolute man-mountain of a striker. Maybe we've had a lot of good luck from corners and free kicks. Maybe we could get something from him. But we are looking good, 2-0 up. And Luton really haven't offered much, to be fair, in terms of the attack. But it's fell to Ballymunba. He's not really got an option, so he's got to play it back to Keitel, who plays a long ball over to Kalakaua. And it's played in the middle, and Alex Robertson finishes it off. VAR is going to check it. I couldn't see if the linesman had his flag up or not. He was too far off screen, so this might not count, and it won't count. I can see the referee's got his arm up there. VAR does rule it out, so it does remain 2-0, but really they've gotten away with it, because that must have been a pretty close offside decision compared to some of the other ones. But a couple of the players are tiring, so after this highlight we will look to make a change, as we have given the ball away there. Poor from Callum Chambers, and Chong will pick up the loose ball. He plays it in, and thankfully, Tom Cannon, who was one of the strikers we were looking at bringing in the summer on loan, thankfully he puts his effort wide and we aren't made to rue it. We'll bring Morgan Whittaker in on the right, we'll bring a Traore on the left, and we'll leave the rest as it is. We are playing well, but we don't want either of those key players getting injured, so we'll take those two off. But yeah, Luton haven't even had a shot on target, so we have definitely been the better side. Not really seen anything from Piszczek since he's come on, but we're not going to change anything else for this game, as it does remain 2-0, and we have a corner. Can we get it? Piszczek on the header, get it up to Piszczek, it's Lascelles, falls to Traore, the substitute, who's come off the bench, looked lively, and he's hit the post as well. How many times do we want to hit the post? If we hadn't scored this game, we'd be ruining this, the amount of times we've not scored. But we do have another late corner. Can we get it 3? We need 3 if we can get... Well, we don't need 3, but Traore, pretty much carbon copy of the last highlight. Can he score this time? He can! Adama Traore off the bench, who's out of contract at the end of the year, but that's not going to stop him from doing everything he can for Plymouth, as we do go 3-0 up, and that's going to give us a 3-goal lead coming into the second leg. So for the second leg, we are going with the exact same lineup. All we need to do now is not mess up. We've got a 3-goal lead against Luton. That's going to see us go into the playoff final with a chance to finish the rebuild and get Plymouth into the Premier League. I wasn't sure how many episodes it was going to take, whether it was just going to be a one-off, whether we were going to do a first time of asking, whether it was going to take 2 or 3, whether it was going to take 5 or 6, but we've got a really good chance to do it in just 2 episodes. But we can't think too far ahead, as we do need to get a result here, and at least just not lose by 3 goals, because if we can manage to not do that, then we will be into the final of the playoffs. If we can get an early goal and just settle the nerves and just sort of kill the game off early, that would be good. But we do have a 3-goal advantage, so we just need to, again, not let Luton get in. We definitely don't want them to get an early goal, as Datro Fofana, I think it was, had a header, and it was a bit of an uncomfortable save for Beadle, but he has managed to make the save, and he's probably been, out of everyone in the side, probably the one that I've not really been convinced of. He looked much better last season when he was here on loan than he has this season. He's definitely had some poor games, but Keitel, has not really played a lot. He's been very much a rotation bench player for us for once McTominay came in, but he's looked quite good in these 2 legs. I really don't know if I'm going to just put McTominay in for the final if we do get there, or whether I'm going to stick with Keitel. I think I'd have to go with McTominay just because he's got that experience and he is that good of a player. But Keitel, well, maybe he's just heard me there, because he's just smashed one past Kaminski. Kaminski's going to be wondering what on earth he's come up against in these 2 legs, because we've absolutely leathered it every single time. And we do go 1-0 up on the night, 4-0 on aggregate, and we are looking very, very comfortable for our playoff final place. But we don't need to let them get any kind of momentum. We don't want them to get anything into this game. I mean, look at the formation they're playing. They're not even trying to go for the game, are they? It's almost like a back six. But Robertson on the free kick, and his effort hits the bar and comes out. And I think we're looking really comfortable now, and we need to be clever, not run ourselves into the ground, just keep the ball and just make sure that we're doing everything we can to not let Luton get one back, because if they get one back, they'll start to get a bit of confidence, and they've got nothing to lose at this point. Their season's over if they don't win this, so they really need to just throw the kitchen sink at it, really. But they're playing with a back six. I don't know why, but Calicoa gets the ball in the back of the net. I'm pretty sure he was offside, though. He looked offside. VAR's going to check it, but he looked offside to me. I'm sure the referee will look at the VAR and confirm it, and he does. It was offside, so it remains 4-0 on aggregate, 1-0 on the night. But we're looking good. We are looking good, and I think we are in a much better place for the playoffs this time round than we were last season. I don't think we were really a playoff side last season. I mean, we still had the likes of Anthony Martial stinking up the attack as Fabio Silva tries one from Everton. I got to tell you, the players we've brought in to replace those players, I think Yakubu's been a great signing at striker. I think Fabio Silva and getting Alex Robertson back, Calicoa back. I think we've kept the ones who worked and we let the ones who didn't work go. Obviously, we brought back Ulrich as well, got him on a permanent deal for next season as Calicoa goes through and his effort is well saved. But if we can get another win here, that'll just give us even more confidence coming into the final. We don't know who it's going to be yet. We haven't seen the other results, so it could be Bristol City, it could be Sheffield Wednesday. I would rather it be Sheffield Wednesday because I think they're probably an easier side. It's them at home and it's 0-0, so it could be them. Bristol City would be a tough. Either's going to be a tough game. I think our poorest results this year have been against teams at the top end of the table. We stumbled once or twice against teams near the bottom end, but not really too often for it to have been a thing. We've very much been consistent in our results against teams in the bottom half. As Fabio Silva gets his 21st of the season, I'm very, very surprised how good Fabio Silva's been. I don't ever see him in Football Manager being that good. And I think a lot of the times he gets played as an out-and-out striker, and I don't think that's what he is. I don't think he's much better off the wing because he's quick, he's not very big, so I don't think he can really press, and I don't think he can really harass goalkeepers and defenders, but he is very quick, and I think he can very much get in behind on the left-hand side, sometimes using the pressing forward as a bit of a playmaker to try and play off the back of it. But we are 2-0 up at half-time, 5-0 on aggregate. We're definitely going to make some changes. We'll just say don't allow complacency to come in. We'll make some changes. We'll take off some of our key players to make sure that we don't have any injuries. We'll bring Gastrovilli on. We'll bring Morgan Whittaker on. We just don't want to see any of our key attackers especially get injuries. Keitel scored today and he's looked really good. I feel like I have to play Scott McTominay. He's just too good at this level not to play him in a big game. He's obviously got experience playing in finals as well. Not that really matters in Football Manager. I think it should. I think there should be something in the background that makes that matter, but just using common sense, I mean, he's such a big player. You'd have to put him in. We'll bring Traore on. We've got another sub as well, don't we? We'll bring, we'll take Ballymumba off as well because he's quite a pivotal player. But we're looking good now. 30 minutes to go. It would take something extremely special and extremely terrible from us for Luton to get back in it. So I'm thinking we are pretty much secure for our playoff final place, as we do have another highlight. As Pisicello, one of the substitutions, whips it in. It's kind of just bobbling around the box, and Morgan Whittaker will get on the end of it. He smashes it past it. It's 3-0 on the night, 6-0 in aggregate. The Luton fans might as well go home early. Their hopes of returning to the Premier League are gone. Our hopes of coming into the Premier League are very much alive, and we definitely are going to be feeling pretty confident coming into the final. But I've done this before where I've smashed teams in the semis, and then you get the final and it's just not the same. But we've looked the better side in both legs as well. The fact that we scored 3 on a 1.52 fills me with a lot of joy as well, because one thing that you don't always get in Football Manager is teams that actually know how to finish. One thing you get a lot is some good XG, but not really finishing teams off. So if we are one game away from finishing the rebuild and potentially potentially finishing the rebuild, getting Plymouth in the Premier League. That was the goal of the rebuild. Obviously, the mini goal was to keep Plymouth up, but we've obviously went above and beyond with that, and the goal was going to be finished once we got them to the Premier League. So whether that was automatics or playoffs didn't really matter as long as we got them there. And we have got one game to go. So if we can do it, if we can win our playoff final, then we will have done the rebuild, and we will be completing the Wayne Rooney Plymouth rebuild. With one game to go. Let's see if we can do it. So here we are for our playoff final. We are at Wembley against Bristol City. They did beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-2 in the end, so quite a close run affair there. But we have our potentially last game of the Wayne Rooney Plymouth rebuild. If we can win it, we'll get Plymouth into the Premier League. And then it's just a case of, if we want to do another part, maybe just try and survive in the Premier League as a third parter, maybe we would do it. But we won't get ahead of ourselves. This is a massive game. Bristol finished third in the league. We finished fourth, so they very much had a better season than us. This is the team we're going with. It's the exact same team who played the Luton playoff semi-finals, except Scott McTominay has come back after finishing his suspension. So he's come in. Keatle's dropped to the bench, who was incredible in the last two games, but it's Scott McTominay. I mean, he's just such a good player. I mean, he's a good decent Premier League player. But yeah, he's got experience playing with Baptiste. The whole team's linking up now. We'll save the game just in case anything crashes, because we don't want to lose our progress. And I keep forgetting to save as we go. So, big game. Can we do it? We need these players who've had great seasons, the likes of Silva, Kalikoa, Yakubu, who's coming in January. We need these players to have big games. Baptiste's been good. McTominay's been good. The back line's been good. Ballymunba, who can be a hero? Who can get us into the Premier League? Oh, it's a big one. It's a massive one. We've got Bristol City in the Championship playoff. Could this be the last video? Could this be the last game of the Wayne Rooney Plymouth rebuild? I hope so. I hope we can do it in two. That's the team that we're going to be playing with. Oh, no. Familiar face, Facundo Pellistri, who was on loan with us last season, who was incredible, is in the Bristol City lineup. Hopefully he doesn't turn into a bit of a nightmare on his return. Obviously, they've got players I'm aware of like Jason Knight, Joe Gelhardt. It's a good side. It is a good side. So I'm not surprised they've done really well. And we need to make sure that we don't allow Pellistri to score, because that would hurt. If former Plymouth boy Facundo Pellistri, who came in as a favourite of Wayne Rooney on the Man United connection, hopefully he isn't the one to stop us getting into the Premier League. But we do have the first highlight of the game, and hopefully it'll be a positive highlight for us as we have the ball. Lascelles plays it out to Ulrich, who's joining in the summer on a permanent deal. We are playing the ball a little bit dangerously here. We do look like we are pressed a little bit by Bristol City, and we are being forced back all the way to Beadle, who plays it to Chambers, but he's quick to McTominay. He's used that experience. Kalikoa tries to play it forward. McTominay tries to win it back, and he does just enough for it to fall to Kalikoa's feet. Kalikoa looking for an option. We're just getting pressed and really struggling to get in, but it's a lovely ball to Mumba at the back stick, and Fabio Silva's there, and Fabio Silva puts it in the back of the net. It's a great ball in. Ballymunba's been doing this for the entire 2 seasons. He's put a wonderful ball in, and Fabio Silva, who's been the main man this season, gets another goal. Fabio Silva, I think was like 5'6" or 7. He's rose like I've had it salmon out of water there and gets his header on it. It's Fabio Silva to make it 1-0, and it remains 1-0, and we've got another highlight, and it's over to Ballymunba. Can he do it again? Just whip it in again, Mumba. Oh, Kalikoa this time whips it in. It really wasn't dealt with, but they managed to just about get it away as Baptiste plays it through to Kalikoa. Kalikoa is through on goal, and David Kalikoa, who's been here for 2 seasons now, has shown his experience, and he's calmly finished it past the Bristol City goalkeeper. It's 2-0. Shandon Baptiste with the assist, but Bristol wanting to get back in the game have a corner, and Pellistri, thank God he's hit the bar. What a game this is. What a playoff final. Sometimes playoff finals are a little bit nervy, but it hasn't been the case today, as Pellistri, the former Plymouth man, nearly got them back in the game. But we've got a corner. Please, can we make it 3? Let's make it comfortable. It's already semi-comfortable, but McTominay rises and I thought that was going to have been a great an idea to bring him in, because I thought McTominay was going to score. He's got massive jump and reach, but unfortunately his effort doesn't go in. But Robertson picks up the ball. Fabio Silva back to Ulrich. He plays it up to Silva. Can't get round his man, but it falls to Baptiste, and we're looking good. McTominay has the ball. Lascelles, McTominay, Chambers. It's all these experienced players you know of, and Ballymunba, who's been one of the stars of this Plymouth rebuild. He was here when we started, and what a player he's been as it falls to Fabio Silva. It kind of knocked around a few different players, but it went from Robertson and Fabio Silva. Of course it's him. What a man he's been this year. Fabio Silva gets the second for him today. 3-0 on the night. First half, 3-0. I mean, we've dominated Bristol. We've dominated it. And we're just one half of football away now from being a Premier League side and going up to the Premier League. Plymouth with Wayne Rooney in the Premier League. What a story that would be. As Calacoa now looking to make it 4. McTominay plays it forward to Aziz. And he's found Fabio Silva, who gets his hat-trick. Or has he? He might be offside. The referee's going to check VAR, but if Fabio Silva's got himself a first half hat-trick in a playoff final, he hasn't. Okay, that would have been something special, but he didn't manage to. But he's looking so good. In behind, just went a step too quickly, and we are just a half away from finishing the rebuild. Wayne Rooney's Plymouth going into the Premier League, and Palistri's been terrible. He's on a 6.1. He's done a favour for his old manager Rooney here. Definitely has. McTominay's on a yellow. I'm not risking it. If we go down to 10 men, that could be the only thing I think that would throw us out. So Keatle, who's been so vital in those 2 playoff legs, is going to get his chance in the big game. He's coming on for McTominay. It looks like Beadle's picked up a little bit of an injury, but he'll play through it. It's been a rare good game from Beadle, and we look very comfortable going into this as Fabio Silva picks up the cross. He looks to play in Robertson. He plays it across. Ballymunba there gets his effort. Thunders off the bar, and the game just kind of froze there, but it's still going. We just want to get the end now. Let's just get the time over with. The game is just continuing on, and we are coming up to the 70th minute, which means we've only got 20 minutes left. As Luton have a corner. The last thing we want to see is them get a goal back. We really don't want them to get one back, because that could spell disaster. And Emmanuel Latte Lath, who's at Middlesbrough in real life, gets one back. It's Plymouth 3, Bristol City 1. Do not let them back in. Do not make this the comeback for Luton. We do not want to see that. Let's shut up shop now. Let's just be, let's not do anything daft. A couple of the players are looking tired, but we don't want to take anyone off just in case Bristol do get back into the game. We wouldn't want to not have these key players for extra time, but we're not thinking that. We are thinking very much we are going to see this out. And Luton have another corner. It's whipped in. It's back out. They play it on the edge of the box, but Ulrich picks it up, plays it upwards to no one, and Luton are back on the attack now, looking for a goal as we've picked up the ball, and again we're just launching it up to no one. We need to have a bit of composure. It's Keitel not really having that oh no, oh my god, Luton. They're just firing shots at our goal. Thankfully that one's went wide. Couldn't even get my words out because I was just holding my breath hoping it wasn't going to go in. It's another corner for Luton. They're really giving it a go now. You'd think, where's this been the whole game? Sorry, I keep calling them Luton. It's Bristol, but it's Bristol with the ball at the highlight. They're looking to get one back. It's over to Bell, who I thought was offside there. He's played it in tonight. Oh, but thankfully his effort's gone over, and I think we're just riding our luck a bit now, but I think that's going to do it. We are 1 minute 30 away as we play the ball up. It falls to Yakubu. His effort hits the post, but I don't think it's going to matter. We've just got a minute to play out, and we do play it out, and Plymouth are promoted into the Premier League. Wayne Rooney's Plymouth have won promotion to the Premier League. Where's the little... Why is there no little... You don't get a trophy lift in the playoffs? That's ridiculous, but we didn't get a trophy lift for some reason, but we've done it. Plymouth are promoted. There you go. Plymouth win in the Sky Bet Championship, and we are promoted to the English Premier Division. So that's it. Rebuild done. Let's just see what kind of money would we get. Oh, that's a lot of money. 525 grand a week wage budget and a 34 million transfer budget. Not bad at all for the kind of money. I mean, we're in the negative really, but Rooney leads Plymouth to promotion. What a story. What a story on the rebuild. Just 2 episodes. We took Plymouth from a team that was struggling to stay in the Championship to now promoted to the Premier League. So I hope you enjoyed this Football Manager rebuild. And if you want to see a third part where we actually try and stay up in the Premier League, then let me know in the comments below. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all for more Football Manager videos very soon.